Method of analysis for practical circuits. In this lecture, I will demonstrate you how to apply the earlier knowledge on negative feedback in practical circuits, especially the voltage series feedback and the current series feedback will be discussed over here, but the voltage shunt and the current shunt feedback circuits will be shown to you, and it will be better for you to practice those circuit. And the way that I will discuss for these two type of feedbacks, that is for voltage series and voltage shunt, following that way you have to identify the, or you have to calculate the parameters associated with the voltage shunt and the current shunt feedback for the circuit that will be given over here. Let's start. When you are going to analyze any kind of feedback network, then the first three requirements are: you must have to ensure that the input signal is flowing through the base amplifier and not through the feedback network. On the other hand, the output signal that should be fed back with the input and that should be mixed up with the input must be flowed through the feedback network and must not be flowed to the base amplifier. And the last one is that the feedback factor that I have denoted K for this lecture, that feedback factor must be independent of the load impedance as well as the source impedance. Now, based on these three requirements, I'm going to discuss some fundamental rules based on which we can analyze the feedback networks. This is the circuit which I have represented earlier also, to represent the with feedback network for voltage series amplifier, and this is the basic model of for the voltage series amplifier, and you are much more familiar with the such kind of model. Now, when you are looking into the feedback network, either from this terminal, that means from the input side of the base amplifier. So this is the input side of the base amplifier, and this is the output side of the base amplifier. But the output side of the base amplifier is basically the input side of the feedback network. So I am referring this is as the input side with respect to the feedback network. So when you are looking from the input side of the feedback network, you can have an equivalent impedance. Similarly, when you are looking from the output side of the feedback network, then also you can have some equivalent impedance. And in many cases, you can find that these two equivalent impedance may not be equal or may be equal. So I'll show you some of the examples. Now, our objective is to incorporate these equivalent impedances into the original circuit. Original circuit means circuit of the base amplifier. Because when the models are represented in this form, it will be difficult for us to analyze such kind of circuit keeping the orientation as shown over here. So therefore, we have to basically incorporate the equivalent impedance for the feedback network into the original circuit. So in order to find that, we first have to consider the output voltage or current should be zero through this equivalent impedance from the equivalent impedance of the feedback network from the input side. When you are going to incorporate this impedance, that means the when you are looking from the input section of the feedback network, and you are going to incorporate this impedance into the original circuit. So since it's a voltage series amplifier, so the signal that is being sampled from the output, it is voltage, and I'm going to find out the input circuit. So in order to do that, I have to consider the output voltage will be zero. Output voltage is zero means the voltage which is appearing at the input of the feedback network is zero, because incorporation of the equivalent impedance into the original circuit follows the similar steps by which I have included or I have calculated the output impedance. So in order to find the output impedance, I had to make all the inputs zero. So here also, since I'm going to find out the equivalent impedance looking from this terminal, and that should be incorporated into the input section of the base amplifier, then I have to consider any kind of voltage that being considered as the input to the feedback network must be zero. For a voltage series amplifier, the signal that is being fed to the feedback network as an input, that is a voltage. Therefore, when you are going to find out the input side of the base amplifier, you have to consider that the voltage appearing across the input of the feedback network is 0. So V naught is equals to 0. So making V naught is equals to 0 is simple one. You can easily make a short circuit across the output terminals, so that will make this V naught is equals to 0, because voltage drop across a short circuit is always 0. So in this way, when you are basically going to analyze any feedback network which is sampling an output voltage, you have to always make the output terminal 0 or output voltage 0 in order to apply this V naught equals to 0 to the input of the feedback network. So that is why short the output terminals for voltage sampling, and this will be your circuit. So when you are shorting the output terminals, so basically V naught is appearing, that is equals to 0, and the equivalent impedance looking from this terminal for the feedback network will now be incorporated within the original circuit or the input circuit of the base amplifier, where this VF is basically the voltage drop across the equivalent impedance of the feedback network when looking from the input terminal. So by this way, what I have done, I have converted the with feedback circuit into without feedback circuit, but I have taken the loading effect of the with feedback circuit into our account. In a similar way, when I'm going to incorporate this impedance, the input impedance of the feedback network into the output circuit, so that is called the finding the output circuit for the base amplifier, I have to make sure that this VF is 0. But VF, what is VF? VF is equals to K times V naught. But V naught we cannot zero directly in this case, because already we have done this V naught is 0 in this way. So the way is that K times V naught is equals to 0. So we can make this VF is equals to 0 by making this A times VI is equals to 0. Now how can we make this VI is equals to 0? If we consider that no current is flowing through the input impedance of the Ri, so no voltage will be dropped across the Ri. And in this way, we can make this VF is equals to 0. Since Vi is equals to 0, so there will be no amplification. So that is why V naught will be equals to 0, and that is why VF will be equals to 0. So voltage across the output terminal of the feedback network will be equals to 0, and in this way we can incorporate this K or this impedance of the K network across the output terminal as shown over here. Therefore, the general rule for the voltage series feedback is that when the mixing is a series type, you always have to open the input loop, and you have to find where these equivalent impedance of the or equivalent input impedance of the feedback network is appearing in the output loop of the base amplifier. So in this way we can incorporate the output loop. So therefore, these are basically the general rule for voltage sampling and series mixing. Next one is the for current shunt feedback. Now for current shunt feedback, in a similar way, I'm going to analyze this circuit. The signal that is being sampled, that is the current, and the signal that is being mixed up with the input signal, that is also in terms of current. So it is a uh, current sampling and shunt type mixing. Now since current is being sampled in this case, and I have to make this I naught is equals to 0, so obviously the output loop, I have to open the output loop in order to ensure that I naught is equals to 0. And with this condition, we can see that the equivalent impedance looking from this terminal is appearing across the input terminals. You can see from over here. So the general rule for the current sampling is that open the output loop for the current sampling. Next one is the finding the output section. Now in order to find the output section, what we have to ensure? We have to ensure that the IF, the feedback current, that must be 0, and that is equals to K times I naught. So I naught depends upon the AI times II, and II is the current through the RI. So how can I make this II is equals to 0? II is equals to 0 means you cannot turn off the source. The source will be there, IS will also be there, but instead of that you have to make this II is equals to 0. So the only way to make this is place a short circuit. So when you place a short circuit across the input terminals, so basically this input current will find the smallest resistance path through the short circuit instead of this Ri. So it will follow this path. So that will make this II is equals to 0. And with this condition, you can see that this equivalent impedance is actually appearing in series with the output loop. So for the general rule for current sampling and shunt mixing is that for current sampling, the input, the output loop you have to make open in order to make sure that output current is equals to 0. And for shunt mixing, you have to short the input terminals to ensure that the feedback current will be equals to 0. And finally, the equivalent impedance looking from these two terminals, when you are considering I naught is equals to 0. So I'm making I naught is equals to 0, you have to find the equivalent impedance of this feedback network, or you have to find the exact place for the equivalent impedance of the feedback network looking from the output terminal of the feedback network. And you will find that for shunt mixing, the actual place for the feedback or equivalent impedance of the feedback network is parallel with the current source, parallel with the input impedance. But the input impedance of the feedback network, when you are looking from the input terminal of the feedback network, then by making this IF is equals to 0, you can find the practical or actual place of this input impedance of the feedback network within the output circuit of the actual base amplifier is in series with the load impedance. So this is the voltage series and this is a current shunt. This will be the original circuit. Now these two circuits are basically now have been converted into the without feedback circuit, but both of these circuits taken the loading effect of their corresponding feedback networks. That means the equivalent impedance looking from the output terminal of the feedback network, as well as the equivalent impedance when you are looking from the input terminal of the feedback network. So those two resistances are taken into account into the original amplifier, but this amplifier is converted into the without feedback network. But without feedback network is for the purpose of our analysis. The original circuit must be with feedback network. In a similar case, for the current shunt feedback, the equivalent impedances are transferred into the and from the input circuit and the output circuit. But this input circuit and output circuit for current shunt feedback is just opposite to that of the voltage series feedback. And using these two amplifier, I have defined the general rule for the method of analysis for the feedback amplifier. Means, so in order to find the input circuit, always short the output terminals for voltage sampling and open the output loop for current sampling when you are going to find out the input circuit, like this, in this way. In order to find the output circuit, when you are going to find this output circuit of the base amplifier, open the input loop for series mixing in this case and short the input terminals for the shunt mixing, that means in this case. So these are basically general rules applicable for all type of feedbacks. When you will be given a practical with feedback circuit, you first have to find out the what type of feedback it is. Then you have to find out, or you have to convert that with feedback circuit into without feedback circuit, but you have to take the loading effect of the feedback network and you have to perform this action following the rules that I have demonstrated in my last couple of slides. And after that, you have to replace the actual active device by its equivalent model. Say for example, if the feedback is achieved using the bipolar junction transistor, then you have to replace it by its equivalent model, H parameter model or hybrid model, that depends upon the range of frequency where you are operating. And after finding that, you have to find this feedback factor K, open loop gain, and the D sensitivity factor, input impedance with feedback, output impedance with feedback, and all those parameters that I have discussed earlier in my lecture. So those parameters you have to find out. I will show you how. And you have to basically follow these 7 rules in order to find the simplified circuit out of that circuit what is given to you for analysis. Now you are given two circuits, the circuit A and circuit B. You have to identify first what type of feedbacks are employed for these two circuits, and then I will show you the process by which we can find the input circuit and the output circuit, and I can find the feedback parameters. So first of all, looking at these two circuit, you can easily identify what are these circuit. Now this is basically the common emitter circuit where the output is taken from the collector, and this circuit, the circuit A, is the common collector circuit where the output is taken from the emitter. And why it is common collector, I also have discussed regarding this common collector during the presentation of the uh, biasing characteristics of the bipolar junction transistor as well as the configuration of the bipolar junction transistors. This circuit has a special name, that is the emitter follower, because it follows the output voltage follows the emitter voltage, and the emitter voltage follows the input voltage minus this VB. Because if you consider RS is equals to 0, so output voltage V naught, which is actually the emitter voltage of this BJT, is equals to Vs minus VB. So that is why output voltage is following emitter voltage, which follows the input voltage. Now we know from our previous analysis that uh, due to absence of any bypass capacitor across this emitter resistance, both the AC and DC current find this path, that is through the emitter resistance for both of these circuits. So therefore, the voltage gain, AC voltage gain, will be reduced with respect to that circuit, with respect to fixed bias circuit where this emitter resistance were absent. We know about these things. So why this voltage gain gets reduced? Because due to presence of this emitter resistance, the AC current is passing through this emitter resistance, so therefore a voltage is being dropped across this, which is V naught as well as the Vf, because both of these voltage are equal, and that voltage gets subtracted from this base voltage and defining this base to emitter voltage. So as the current gets increased, the base to emitter voltage gets reduced, because the increased current makes a increased voltage drop across the emitter resistance. In a similar way, a reduced current makes this base to emitter voltage less than the previous one. So in this way, basically the presence of the emitter resistance employed some negative feedback, and that is why the voltage gain reduced. Now what type of negative feedbacks are employed over these two circuits? We know the voltage across this emitter resistance is basically the feedback voltage that is being applied, and this feedback voltage is appearing in series with the input voltage. So in both of these two circuits, the mixing is taking place in a series type, but whether they are voltage series or current series, that we have to find out. Now that can be found easily by defining the feedback factor, because we know the feedback factor must be independent of the load impedance as well as the source impedance. This uh, rule I have defined at the very beginning of this lecture. Now for circuit A, K is defined as Vf divided by V naught. So Vf and V naught both are taken across the same resistance Re, so they will be equals to 1. Uh, the ratio will be equals to 1. Now for circuit B, Vf is the voltage taken across the Re, and this is the output current, the direction of the output current. So Vf will be equals to minus I naught times Re, because you have to consider the I naught is flowing along this direction in order to produce a positive voltage drop across this Re. That is why minus I naught multiplied with this Re will appear at the numerator of this feedback of the expression of the feedback factor in case of circuit B. Now V naught is the voltage across the load impedance. In case of these circuits, for circuit B, RL is a load impedance, but for circuit A, this emitter resistance RE is the load impedance because output is taken across the load impedance. So in this case, since it is taken across the emitter resistance, it is the load impedance. But in this case, the load impedance is shown over here. So V naught is equals to I naught times RL, because for AC analysis, we know these DC voltages should be shorted with the ground terminal, and then V naught will appear parallel with this RL or across with the RL. So basically V naught, the AC voltage drop, AC output voltage will be taken across this RL, and that is why the V naught is written as I naught times RL. And here finally I naught gets cancelled, and this feedback factor is appearing as minus RE divided by RL. Now look at here. In the expression of feedback factor for circuit A, it is constant, but for circuit B, it is taken into account this RL. But feedback factor must be independent of load impedance and source impedance. But here, by considering the circuit B is a voltage series feedback, the load impedance is coming in the feedback network or in a feedback factor. So that is why circuit B is not at all a voltage series feedback. But for circuit A is a voltage series feedback. Now let it investigate it for the current series. Now for current series, the feedback expression for the feedback factor as shown over here, Vf divided by I naught, where I naught is the output current, which is equals to minus I naught times Re divided by I naught. So I naught gets cancelled, that is equals to minus Re. So right now for circuit B, Re minus Re is appearing as a feedback factor, and that is okay with us because Re is not load impedance for the circuit B. However, Re is the load impedance for circuit A, but it is not at all the load impedance for circuit B. Therefore, K, which is equals to minus Re, is okay with us, and that is the expression for the feedback factor for circuit B. So circuit A is the voltage series feedback and circuit B is the current series feedback. Next step is to find the input circuit and to find the output circuit, and we have to follow the rules that I have derived and I have demonstrated in my earlier slides. So for the voltage series feedback, that means for circuit A, we know in order to find the input circuit, we have to short the output terminals for voltage sampling. Now this is the output terminals I am shorting. So shorting this output terminal means this Re gets shorted, and by placing a short circuit across this Re, if you see around the input loop, you can find that Rs only is appearing within the input loop. So this will be the input circuit where this Re is absent. In order to find the output circuit, we have to follow this rule: open the input loop for series mixing. Since it is a series mixing, we have to open the input loop. So I have opened the input loop, and if you find by considering a loop around the output section, you will see, because when you are going to do this AC analysis, you have to make this terminal, or you have to connect this terminal with the ground terminal. So that will make a complete loop, and in that output loop, this emitter resistance is appearing in the output side. Therefore, this is the total circuit, or actually I have converted the with feedback network into without feedback network, where you can see this is the input circuit and this was the output circuit, and combining these two circuits, I have obtained the complete circuit where Re, this emitter resistance, is appearing only within the output loop and it is absent within the input loop. So for this particular type of voltage series feedback, Re doesn't appear in the input loop, but it is appearing within the output loop. Another thing you have to notice that look at the terminal of the look at the polarities of this plus and minus, because when Re was present in an original circuit, the positive terminal was associated with the emitter terminal and the negative terminal was associated with this ground terminal. But right now, in order to separate this Re from the input side, I have taken into account this Re within the output loop, So the polarities I have to maintain in accordance with the original circuit. So therefore this will be the positive terminal, because this is the emitter terminal, and this will be the negative terminal, because at this position the ground was placed. But since this circuit is fully practically for our analysis purpose, don't place a ground over here, because this is not the actual place of the ground. Actual original place of the ground was this one, but here I will not place any kind of ground. Now, as you have obtained the input circuit and the output circuit, and you have converted the feedback network into the without feedback network, but you have taken their loading effect into our account, now we can find these parameters. So first we know what is the feedback factor, that is 1 for this circuit. Next is a capital V, because we cannot find a small v, because a small v was the open loop open load voltage gain, but since load is present in this case, and which is Re, so we can find the a capital V, which represents the open loop with load voltage gain, and that is equals to V naught divided by Vs. Now V naught can be found by considering minus HFE IB, which is flowing along this direction, and when it gets multiplied with this Re due to this opposite polarity, that is minus plus, the final polarity or the final sign that is appearing, that is a positive sign before that. Or you can find that HFE times IB is flowing through this direction, so then also it will be HFE times IB times Re. Now Vs, just apply KVL within the input loop, so Vs will be IB times Rs plus HFE, where this IB gets cancelled, and HFE Re divided by Rs plus HIE is appearing at the numerator. Next, the D sensitivity factor, which is equals to 1 plus K times A capital V. It's very simple. So just K is equals to 1, A capital V I just have obtained. So 1 plus K times A capital V will have this expression. Now the with feedback voltage gain. With feedback voltage gain, we know A capital V divided by 1 plus K times A capital V. So with feedback with load voltage gain will be equals to without feedback with load voltage gain divided by 1 plus K times without feedback with load voltage gain. And finally, if you place all of this expression, you will have this expression for the with feedback voltage gain. And if HFE Re, you'll consider it is very greater than Rs plus HIE, and which in general is true, then AVF will be approximately equals to 1. But in practical case, this AVF is slightly less than 1, because this is the emitter follower circuit, and for emitter follower circuit we know the voltage gain is less than 1, because emitter follower circuit is a common collector circuit where we can have the current gain but we cannot have the voltage gain. So when you are employing the negative feedback, then also that rule is valid. These are the findings from my last slide. This is the expression for the input impedance, and we know the input impedance must be increased due to the series mixing. So in case of voltage series, the input impedance must be increased, and it increases by 1 plus K times A capital V by the desensitivity factor, and final expression it is taking in this form. Now the output impedance ROF. Now what is this R naught F? This R naught F is equals to R naught divided by 1 plus K times A small v. So A small v since exists in the expression of R naught F, so A small v means without load. So when load is infinite, so when in this case Re is actually the load, so when A capital V means the without considering the load, so in this case when you are taking this load off from the circuit, so then A capital V will be resulted. But what is this capital R naught? Capital R naught is the actual output impedance when you are looking from this terminal. So this is basically the output impedance of the bipolar junction transistor when you are looking from this terminal. And what is that one? That one is nothing but 1 by HOE that I have neglected by considering that output impedance is very large or infinite. So that is why R naught is infinite itself. Along with that, a small v we can easily obtain by limiting this a capital V where RL tends to infinity. But RL is Re itself. Now if you make this RL tends to infinity, the A capital V will also become the infinity, and A small v also be. So therefore R naught f is will be undefined, because that will be the ratio of infinity divided by infinity. So we have to follow the backward process. Let's see. So first we have to find this R naught f dashed. What is R naught f dashed? It is equals to the parallel combination of R naught f with the load impedance, which is Re, divided by 1 plus k times A capital V. Look at here. Here basically you are you have taken into account the load. So both in the numerator as well as in the denominator by considering A capital V, and basically you are looking this R naught f with feedback output impedance from you are looking from this terminal, a similar terminal where you are actually defining this R naught dashed. Now since R naught f is infinite, we have seen in my last slide, so the parallel combination with the load impedance, which is Re, will result in the Re itself, and divided by 1 plus k times A capital V, and the expression for this k times A capital V, I have just that is the expression for the decentrality factor is this one. I have replaced it over here, and in this expression, from this expression I can easily find out what is R naught f by limiting this emitter impedance, emitter resistance to infinity of this R naught f dash, because R naught f dash and R naught f, they are basically follows the same rule that A capital V and A small v follows. R naught f dash is considering the load impedance, where R naught f is not considering the load impedance. So by making this load impedance or the emitter resistance infinity, we are having the expression for R naught f as shown over here. So in this way we can find the load impedance output impedance for the voltage series feedback of the circuit that was presented in this case. Next one is the current series. Now what is the purpose? We have identified the topology, it is the current series, and now we have to find the input circuit as well as the output circuit. Now since we have to follow the rules that I have demonstrated in my at the beginning of this lecture, that for finding the output circuit, open the output loop for the current sampling. Since it is the current series and it is sampling the current, so open the output loop for the current sampling. So I have to open this output terminal, and I will see opening the output terminal is not making any effect on this emitter resistance. So therefore when you are looking for the input loop around the base emitter loop of this transistor, you can see the emitter resistance, or the which is actually the equivalent resistance of the feedback network, that is appearing within the input loop. So here I am separating that emitter resistance within the input loop. Next one is that you have to find the output circuit. We know what is the rule, that is the open the input loop for series mixing. Now here you have to make it open. So in both of these cases we have to make this open loop and input loop, input loop and open loop. So here by making or by opening this input loop, what we are having, if you observe this output loop, while you have opened this input loop, you can see that emitter impedance is also appearing around the output loop. But that means for the circuit what I have presented here, the current series, for the current series circuit, this emitter resistance is appearing both in the input side as well as in the output side. But this is applicable for this particular circuit. If you have different circuit for the current series, for that circuit the orientation of the input circuit and the output circuit will be different. But for this circuit, when you are going to convert the with feedback network into the without feedback network by taking the loading effect of the feedback network, then you can see the equivalent impedance of the feedback network is appearing both in the input side as well as in the output side, and that is, this circuit is actually the complete circuit that I have presented. Next one is the you have to just replace the active device by its equivalent model, where this emitter resistance is appearing within the input loop as well as in the output loop. K we know already, I have defined, that is equals to minus Re. Now the open loop with load gain is not the voltage gain because it is a current series feedback. So output is the current, input is voltage because it is a at the input the voltage the feedback voltage gets mixed up with the input in terms of voltage. So I naught divided by Vs, which defines the transconductance gain. So G capital M defines the open loop with load transconductance gain, and I naught is minus HAP times II because II is equals to IB, all are in series. So HAP times IB is equals to HAP times II. Why minus? Because the direction of the I naught and the HAP times IB or HAP times II are just opposite to each other. So that is why minus is appearing over here. Now Vs, just applied a KVL over here, and II or IB times Rs plus HI plus Re. So from here II gets cancelled, and the desensitivity factor can be obtained by this expression 1 plus K times G capital M. So this will be the desensitivity factor. Now GMF, which is the closed loop with load transconductance gain. Just divide this open loop gain divided by the desensitivity factor, and I have obtained this one. Input impedance, since it is also a series type mixing, input impedance also will be increased, and it will be increased by the desensitivity factor. So I have to multiply the input impedance with the desensitivity factor. So input impedance looking from this terminal is this one, that is Rs plus Hi plus Re. This is the input impedance, and when you are multiplying this desensitivity factor, so this Rs plus Hi plus Re gets cancelled from both the numerator and denominator, and resulting in only this one. Now, as shown in my previous circuit, the output impedance in this case, output impedance uh, without load output impedance, with feedback without load output impedance, so R naught F is also infinite here also, because HOE, which I have assumed, is equals to 0, and which makes this R naught infinity. So therefore I can find this R naught F dash, which is the parallel combination of R naught F is with the RL, and since it is infinite, so it is resulting this RL. And this circuit is for the current shunt feedback, and it is given to you for analyzing this circuit, and in order to find all those parameters, that means the um, current gain, since it is the current shunt feedback, so you can find the with load open loop current gain as well as with load closed loop current gain, the input impedance, output impedance. So those parameters that I have obtained for the voltage series and current series feedback, those parameters you have to obtain over here also. So try it by yourselves. Next one is the voltage shunt feedback. So this circuit is for the voltage shunt feedback, and for this circuit also try it by yourselves.